Hey, how's it going? It's me and
Hey
Mark.
guys, just want to say hi. I was talking to JB about crafting interfaces actually. So yeah, I just wanted to say I hope everyone's having a great day, or at least a good day, and all's going well here. So bye.
See you, Mark.
Okay.
All right. So what I am doing right now is kind of an extension of what you saw me doing
Huh?
last Thursday, which I've had a few different sidetracks into other things, getting other things done between now and then. Um, but if you remember last week, if you were here, um, I was working on these GraphQL attribute things in order to dynamically generate GraphQL types. I even wrote documentation for it. See, yay, documentation. Um, so they're in a pretty good state right now. The first pass of it has been submitted um, to our main repository, and right now, what I'm doing is going through and using these attributes to put a lot more data out to the GraphQL API super quick. So we'll see as I go through here. I'm currently going through our our crafting recipes and lists. They're not all recipes, but right now for in-game we have crafting commands are through slash commands, and um, we have a whole category of list slash commands, which are like CR list weapons, list armors, list substances, which are used in order to do your crafting. So I'm going through these, getting these available through the GraphQL API, as opposed to just sending it down through a slash command, which then you have to read and parse through. This way it'll be nice and easy for programs and mods and whatnot, and the nice crafting UI that MeHuge is making for preliminary crafting testing UI, which is going to be awesome to consume and use. So what I'm doing for that is, can I split screen this here? Is I made a class that really all it is here to define these different GraphQL fields in order to have all of these underneath a single query. So on here you can see this is a response of one of them that worked, crafting block recipes. So under block recipes you can get ID, the substance ID, and some various things. The output item, some info about that, some info about what ingredients it requires, some percentages and qualities and stuff. So here's an example result right there of how that comes out. And these other ones I've added over here. You can see these are under crafting. So like weapons, armor, substances, munitions. These are basically almost the same data, with some of them have a little bit more. Like the armors and the munitions are like the exact same data you get from doing the slash command. However, the weapon one gives you a little bit more because you get the ID, which is like the name of it, and then its weapon type in addition, so it's a little bit more useful. Ammo or vial, which is basically is it ammo or isn't vial, which I think under list weapons they're all not ammo and not vial, so it's kind of useless for right now, but it's there. And then resource type as well. And the blocks have a little bit more detail. And the substances, you get the name of the substance, the type of substance, any of the tags on the substance, which I think they all basically have like a raw tag. And then the stats from that substance, which are like resistances and stuff that can get carried onto your gear that you craft with it, hardness factors, and various different, a bunch of different factors that go into crafting. A whole lot of things. Yeah, so the next thing I did block recipes. So now I'm going to do list siege engine and see what we get from that. Let me get rid of these other files I don't need open. Alright, list siege engine. What does that return? It returns a string and the siege engine defref. Let's see what that is. See if I can get more data about it. Siege item def has ID. Script, that's probably not something we want to send out, so stats though. It does have stats, so I'll send out the stats. We'll make that an object. So make this siege engine def a field or a GraphQL object that can get exported out. So to do that, very simply just need to add the GQL tag there, GQL fields and the fields that I want out. Don't want siege script. Yep, so I just need those two things, the ID and the stats. And I need to make sure that that enum is exported. Apparently there's only 3 stats right now. That's cool. It'll automatically update whenever it gets added later. More to it. And then on this defref, it's a way we store and get items from our database and kind of have an internal cache. So I'm going to also be able to just send out a defref, but it'll act like an item def, and that'll just be kind of a pass-through. So I did the same thing on substance def. No, I didn't do it on substance def. Weapon def. Nope, not that one. Yeah, weapon stats. Yeah, I don't know. I don't need to even worry about that there. Okay. Right, so here we can get that def there. So I'm just going to copy this. This is going to be the type of this property really doesn't matter. It's just siege engine def. What was it called again? Siege engine item def. Siege engine item def. We're going to return a list of siege engine item defs, and then we're going to resolve it with a siege engine engine field resolver, which doesn't exist. I'm just going to copy the same one I did for blocks. Siege engine. And we'll rename it. And what I'm doing is just taking the same exact code that we have for that list. So I get the list, and I'm going to, instead of what it was doing was just sending text of the name, I'm just going to save off into a list each of these items. So defs.add, and we'll send off a whole list of these items to the API, just like that. So we're going to have a list of the siege engine item defs. Oh yeah. I'm going to call it Siege Engines. Build. While that's building, I can answer some questions. Alright, so Ludovic, you're asking if crafted items will be stored as an object with its component material stored in it rather than a finished object. It will be a finished object, but it will also have the component material stored in it as far as at least as our database goes. We may not actually show that to you after the item is already crafted. Right now, the items that I do have on the API do have that included. And that's just because, like, for beta, as we've said, we're going to just give out way too much information for now. But it kind of really doesn't matter to the actual crafted item, and it might be useful to hide it so that crafters, what items they used in order to create that is kind of like a trade secret. So we might not show that stuff to other people, other than the person who made it might be able to see what they put into it. But it's there. It exists. What are you complaining about? Probably just didn't build properly. So I did just do a rebase right before starting the stream. It wasn't an issue in the code I wrote. Ludovic, you're asking, will items update if the materials are updated that they're crafted from? I don't know. Maybe, but it's definitely possible. That's when we have the data, so we could do that. But that's a design question on what the intent is for that. Commercials? Even commercials on the channel? But yeah, I mean that is a good question for a Friday MJ question. Since you got the inside scoop on how our data is stored now. Alright, compiling. Takes a lot longer now that I added all the physics stuff into it. So many projects, all these projects. Oh, I didn't get the movie quote reference. Alright. There we go, succeeded. All I had to do was rebuild twice. Alright. So ignoring that error there. When this starts up, I should be able to get the siege engines data. Alright. Refresh. Make sure it works. Query, good. Crafting now has siege engines on it. So let's delete this because I don't care about that data right now. Siege engines is ID and it has stats. Whoops. And the stats can be health, yaw speed, and pitch speed. And expected name found end of file. There we go. Bam. Was missing a curly brace. Look at that. Now there's 3 different types of scorpions. Looks like in the game, and they have, see how much health they have and how fast they move. They're all the same. So as simple as that, besides the whole compiling and stuff taking a while, having to recompile, but that was like super quick. Just add another one. So I'll add a couple more real quick. So that was siege engines. Next, Purify recipes. So what that is, sends out recipe text with ingredient name, output name. There's an ingredient item ref and output item ref. So basically it's in Purify def ref, Purify recipe def. So let's see what this has on it. I might be able to just put that out right away, as is. Okay. And item def refs. I've already got those set up to just output. So item def refs will output basically as if they're an item def, which is kind of the pass-through that I set up there. Because we do store things as def refs, which then that'll give you some information on the item. A lot of the stuff I'm not outputting right now, that it will be eventually. I just wanted to make sure the basics are coming through. so that's that, and copy. And these purify was what they're going to be purify recipe defs. Purify recipe def. Purify recipe def. Purify recipes. Resolver is going to be purify recipe resolver. Make a purify recipe resolver. This does have more information though. It's got a. I don't need the updater, but the who. Ah, that doesn't matter either. Okay. These are going to be purify recipe defs. Defs.add item. Yeah. Name will already be part of that. Save. That's another one. Hey, what's up, Sacrix? And that was just a couple minutes, super quick. Let's add another one and then I'll test them all. This is the compilation time takes a while in the startup. So iteration time would be slow if I tested it for every single one. Grind recipes. Those are grind recipe defs. Let's see what those are. ID and item defs. Yep. Do the same exact thing I did for the purifies. Just add the GQL tag there and a GQL field for GraphQL field. There and there and there. And what I should probably do is I do have this. So what I could do is I could rename this because it says output item ref. Right? I can just rename it so when I say like, you know, output item instead of output item ref. I could if I wanted. And this one, same thing. I can say name equals ingredient item. To take that ref off of there because it's like, what does that mean? Hey, what's up, John Bon Jovi? How's it going? My RuneScape friends. So doing the same thing for the grind recipes as I did for purifies. Grind recipes, copy how to get them, and instead of outputting text, we'll add the item again, and then send out the whole item. Alright, and next one, I'm going to get to test all these shortly. List / commands. Grind recipes, refine recipes. Hey look, same thing. Probably mostly all the same thing. Which is why I did all the work, you saw me working on the last Thursday, making this attribute stuff in order to do the dynamic generation, because just look how fast it is now. Like, that's just like a type ready for going out to the API on our GraphQL just by adding a couple attributes. And that one was refine recipes. Rename them all to refine. Probably is the same exact thing as just doing this. It's probably just all I had to do. So let me look real quick. Find a recipe, def ref entries. Blah 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 blah. Yep. Block recipes are a little bit different because they have requirements. Alright, shape recipes. Yeah, they're a little bit more complicated. But what's it outputting? So it doesn't matter who is actually doing this stuff, which I think that exists on the player. So this one's going to be a little more complicated, and you'll probably need to go into the user context to find out who's making the query. So that'll be more interesting. So before I get into that, I'll do a quick test of the 4 that we just added here. 3 and siege engines. Oh, and hi just gains 2. You wanted me to say hi. Alright. Startup's just a little slow because it parses all of our skills. Alright, start it up. Refresh. Great. We have siege weapons, siege engines. And then it was, we had Purify recipes was another one. It was ID, ingredients, ID, name. It was grind recipes. Ingredient item. See, this is the one I renamed. And I added that name, so instead of saying ingredient item ref, this is ingredient name. So working nicely. And then it was Purify recipes, grind recipes, refine recipes, which they all will likely be, they should all be working. Run them all. Looks like they all worked. Siege engines got the scorpions, Purify recipes. You can purify wood, stone, and aluminum. You can make pure aluminum. You can grind let's see, if you grind aluminum pure, you get aluminum grind. This probably should be say ground, but whatever. And we take in pure and you get grind. Naming of this stuff will be much more human readable names later. Oh, yeah, so it goes from aluminum bar to essence of aluminum. Wow, so essency. Also, you can just get aluminum ore and turn it into essence of aluminum. And you can refine stone, wood, and aluminum into polished stone slab, wood boards, and aluminum bars. Excellent. Our main programming languages we use for our game are C++ and C#, with our game client being all C++ and our server being a mix of C# and C++. And then for our UI, we do use TypeScript/JavaScript for doing the UI. But pretty much everything is C++ and C#. What I'm working on right now is C# for our web API server. Alright, so those all words. That was super quick. It was just a couple minutes to add in all these types and get all that data out. And the next one I needed to do was these shapes, which shapes you apparently have to discover through your crafting history. So I'm going to have to find out to get this to get this crafting recipes. So this one's going to be more complicated. What do I want to return from it though? I want to send recipe text, which is item ref output item. Okay, so I probably just I'm gonna output this shape recipe def in place of that. Let me just prepare this type. Aluminium, is that what you say? Yeah, but you know, I'm American. I say aluminum because we do. Output item. We want that. I'm gonna rename that from output item ref to just output item. I'm gonna output this loss percentages and stuff. For now, for debugging, might be stuff you don't see later. And then ingredient is array of recipe ingredient def. Yeah, let's output that. Let's make sure that I have that type defined. So I have it configured that I know how to handle immutable arrays, as long as I know how to handle what's inside of it, which is already configured. So yeah, so that'll work. Yeah. Let's get this set up, the basics of it at least. Which is going to be shape recipe defs, getting output, shape recipe def, shape recipe. Now the logic's going to be a little bit more complicated than the resolver this time. We don't want to export out the same stuff. So this / command. Copy all that. List ingredients. Yeah, Windows just defs.add item. Okay. Now what I need to do is figure out this who, which What is this who? Oh, glad to hear that, Ben Gaming. Thanks for hanging out. Norvindus, I could. I'm just copying and pasting existing code. We'll go with that one right now. Because I could just do where then not even have that. I don't know. It'll be about the same speed anyways. Yeah, that document is in Google Sheets. You won't see it for a while. We don't do a whole lot of automated testing in Mr. Manchild, but we do use the built-in Visual Studio stuff, basically. So you can see like some test here. It's just the built-in, just kind of Visual Studio testing stuff. Microsoft Visual Studio test tools. Which of those, they work nicely. Like I have ReSharper here. I can just go through, like, I wrote some for some of my group stuff, and here I can just, view them in Visual Studio and run them. Just run all the tests, make sure they work. Alright, back to figure out what this who is. Who calls this? Yes, obviously that calls it. Do. So display list, who calls that? This calls that. Who calls this? Caller. Right. Now who's caller? Well, Mr. Manchild, as far as I'm aware, and the majority of game studios don't do a lot of automated testing. It's really it's something that takes a lot of time. I will find out where this gets called eventually. I think it might be the player entity, to be honest, but I just need to make sure what gets passed in. Slash commands. Let's see. Create, read, send. Right, I'm pretty sure it's the player updater is what this is. Which I can get a player. Oh, I didn't want to close that one. Alright, so let me get a player. So we have from this context, resolve field context, user context equals context user context as a GraphQL user context, which is the user context that I've defined and added stuff to it. So context dot, and I have a character object on it, or a user. Well, what we do is get the character and get the character ID. ID. What we want to do is get get clients for the Hey, how's it going, Zeolanti? What do you want me to say, Sacrates? It really depends on your definition of large scale, and there is a reason why we built our own engine. It's not like we wanted to build our own engine just for fun. It's a lot of fucking work. Zelante, this is C# actually. I had somewhere to get a player character, player entity.
Well, let me get one real quick. And I'll
where did I have that? I know I can do it on the game server itself. I don't think. See, I have my other world state stuff, which. I don't think I can get. this information right now. I can get it on stuff that have another branch, but that is not ready yet. Well, so this one we'll leave off for now. TBD. Coming soon. To-do. Coming soon. Alright. List block recipes. Is this to do the same thing with this who-ness? Requirement filled who, blah blah blah. Looks like it. Let me see what this actually does though. Requirement fulfilled. Takes in a subject. Takes in another subject. And
Oh yeah.
requirement context, requirement def, conditions, evaluate, requirement context, blah blah blah. That's not helpful. I'm sure that was brought up during the Kickstarter, potentially, Zycrix. And I don't remember all of those videos, but I would expect that was brought up then. I wonder what the requirement is on this thing. The requirement could just be faction based. And I know the faction. So you not even have to do this whole requirement thing. Let me look and see what we got in the Dust database. Let's see. ID, substance ID, output ID, compressive strength, share strength, blah blah blah. don't even know what this requirement is. Input item quality requirement. So there's quality requirements. I mean, I would definitely use either of those engines for a game that is not trying to fit, hundreds, thousands of players on screen. I think requirements are just quality. Which, in order to list them, I don't think I need to care about that. Let's see if Christina is around and she could answer my question on that one. Right, I mean, 300 people in a battle is quite a lot. Which we're not the only devs to make the decision to do this either. Like, Black Desert Online had the same decision. They built their own engine for it because they wanted more players to be in battles as well. I think it's almost, it might be lunchtime for Seattle people. So it doesn't look like I'm getting an answer on this black recipes thing for right now. But I can move on to other stuff. But I really think this requirement might not matter. I'll put it without it for now. So I do have other block recipes. What is that other one anyway? So there's list block recipes and list building blocks. That's different. Right, so the other one I should name to building blocks. The blocks. Although, why is that block recipes? This building blocks, let's see. Indefinite block structure. Okay, so it just lists all the blocks. The difference between this and the block recipes is only this requirement thing, which I gotta find out what it is from Christina when I think they're back from lunch. So that's that. Let's see. See what else I can get from the crafting. The box status. That's one I could probably get. I was looking at our slash commands, which I don't think I need to start up the game then. So I found their sheet. Alright, so inventory. We have that here. List inventory. List weapons, list substances, list armor. Weapons, substances, armors. Blocks, siege engine, purify recipes, grind recipes, refine recipes, and shape in blocks. I just need to talk to Christina to get some more detail on questions I have with those. CR. So I think I might just make some go right into making the commands that actually make the box do things for crafting. Yeah, they use RO. They use the same internal servers. Andrew's actually over there right now in Seattle, helping them get to on our servers faster. I think day before yesterday, they were over VPN had like a 6-minute startup time on the game server because it was going over VPN. Andrew got that down to about 2 minutes, whereas internally here we have it like a minute and a half. So definitely making it easier for them to develop on the same stuff. Oh, looks like Christina's back from lunch now. Perfect timing. So who is the player entity, it seems? The crafter. Nah. No worries on that. I'm just sorry for the sort of quietness. I'm talking to Christina on Discord about what's up with these list block and list shape requirement stuff and the who. Yeah, which it turns out this who is a player entity, and the requirement fulfilled will actually take this requirement path, which is a script that runs against the entity to check if it meets some arbitrary amount of requirements, which I think right now it's just checking like race and faction, but I can't really shortcut that without the entity right now, without writing a whole lot of code. But I will have an entity soon. That's another change list that I'm working on another branch. I have getting the actual world state from the game server to the API server, which will allow me to have an actual entity, which is just like the in-memory version of a player. Well, entities can be any entity on the server, like projectiles or players or dummies or target dummies or whatever, fireballs, siege engines, anything. So that just means, and that just confirms that I can't do these yet, but I can do other things. So I will move on to the other things. Which the other things are going to be other blocks / commands, which run on the server for like process command create, process command status, and all that stuff. These also are going to require entities and all the actual game update stuff, but I don't actually need to get that info because I can send the requests from the API server directly to the game server in order to make these happen, which is what we're going to do anyways on these things, because we don't run the actual like crafting on the API server. So that's fine. Right, so process command create. Create a box owned by the player running this command on the ground at the current position. Well, that's an admin command. So let's not worry about that one for right now. Status. Okay. You have a great day as well, Basileus. Pacific 99, what you're asking. Question regarding the UI, will you be able to save it with your build skills in-game? So if you've logged into a different PC, you don't have to set up login. As far as your UI settings and configuration and everything and your layout, that's the plan. I want to save everything, all your configuration of your UI on our servers. That way you can log into a different computer and have the same exact UI layout. And same thing with like all your game settings and everything. It should feel the same, and you potentially have different profiles as well for different computers. So what am I doing here? I am going to be I have changes on my other branch that I want for this. I might just pull it over. Anything that matter. This music is from Monster Cat. Hey Ben.
Ben.
No, he's taking it.
Oh, alright. Sorry, Ben.
How difficult is it to add a mod that spawns resource nodes? Should we get one on Hatchery?
There is one.
Is there?
There should be little supply cards all over the place.
Hatchery's like the glowy map and stuff right now.
Oh, I have no idea.
Yeah. Yeah. It's Tyler's glowy map on Hatchery.
Into the...
Well, it's just me who's just trying to do the crafting UI, and there's no crafting maps on Hatchery. If you just add a node to
I
that,
cannot add a node. I have to create a train mod that takes.
that's what I was wondering. Hatchery,
Actually, is set up for the gathering stuff.
is it now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Actually, D. Is that the map that we're running? Or are we running some other glowy?
I thought it was the glowy map.
It's been off the glowy week all week. All of
Oh, okay. So there should be carts that have all the maps.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. I'm just checking.
Yeah, it's been on the standard like small island we all.
Any updates yet?
No, Brad's still working on the deadlock and
Oh, right.
all of the land stuff in the
Hey, look.
Last time it was 15 to 20 minutes.
Yeah, they went to lunch right after that.
Okay. Thanks for hanging out. The man with no screen name. The backend in like server code is not all C#. It is a mix of C# and C++. But mostly C#. It depends on your definition of mostly. All right. Sorry, I had to check on the mats there for me. She's building the prototype crafting UI. All right. What am I doing? Set job or something on that status. And I have the game handler here in CU shared. I want to use the game handler that I set up into server entities. So I'm going to merge my two things. Since the world state stuff I did on that other one is basically not needed anyways. Hey, look, you can see me do git stuff. Add stuff. And we're gonna merge these, and this might be messy. Hey, not messy. There's a problem. Shouldn't be too much of a problem. Da, da. Pulling over to the other solution. Hey, look, a bunch of solution errors. Oh, this is easy. Die debug no AVX. Die with a fire. And what's this one? I already have releases for those. And merge conflict resolution. So much fun.
And then I usually like take 4 cards. 4 cards and just certain things like that. You know, I told you what I did, but that you were talking. Oh yeah. So every time you tell me a story, you just become a right oh, it'll drive you absolutely insane. My goal.
So many. Look, there's so many more to do.
Oh, I know I will. Oh, I know you know. You're a wise man.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, so one thing I've noticed. But
Yeah.
she said she looked like a knot on her head, like I banged my head on the bar. And I said, what happened? Well, the bar. She said, I went to the bar. She didn't work. That strong, you know, thing. brass that is scaled up.
Yeah.
Almost done.
Is there a reverse is there a way that
Alright. Done.
no, but is it automatic or is it
It's automatic. It also is additive and subtractive, so you can set like
You. Hey, look, done. Okay. This file should be gone, and it should live in server entities now.
It looks like normal graph.
Oh yeah, we can add them right in.
Yep, done.
The other thing we can do is like if you're not seeing anything. I noticed stuff that I was looking at where I didn't see anything close and I got away and it showed up. So I mean you can do things like where they compare it as code to the
Game handler. There should only be one. Is there two?
Yeah, well this is really what
Game handler .cs. No.
like right now they
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good. State stuff we're not gonna want right now. So I'm gonna make this not a state provider handler and just a let's see, provider handler without the state stuff, and that means I delete the state stuff because that's from the other. That'll come from my world state changed. I just wanted to get everything else I changed in it. And then that means game provider. Provider, which doesn't exist in this project.
Right? Yeah. So, hey, up close it looks good, and then, you just made it out. What if you have that up close was really good, up close in a way that I don't think that, and reveal something totally unique about whatever it was.
Hey, how's it going? This is RFA.
Couldn't do it otherwise. So, like, you're looking at the grass and you think it's normal and no blind ball just to really look at, as you walk by. But if you sat down and you got yellow, something not normal yet, or if you were sitting in a front position.
So in this case, of course, you're walking along.
Alright, here we go.
Push you know, need a regular push. And when you get within
And server, yay. Close all that stuff. It's loading. It's being slow.
it's hard to do with camera perspective, right? Because your camera's already put in like 2 years ago.
That's why I took
And game provider.
Next.
Excellent. We are going to make this just a PC provider.
Yeah, it wasn't too easy.
Just a standard provider that doesn't have state. Goodbye sending world state stuff. Goodbye sending world state stuff.
Oh, well, that, yeah. No, I was just that whole. I can think of a game that you really could get that close and see something entirely different. But entirely
It was good for the players to go in and
yeah, exactly.
I like
Just something core quickly into depth, right? Because, you know, when we get to depth,
Yep,
we
yep,
get
yep,
things
yep.
like
Goodbye.
that ice
Goodbye you.
that
Goodbye
we
you.
just,
Okay.
mouse over or
Don't need that either. There's no more initial state. Excellent.
camouflage. So when you have a camouflage player, you can't tell the new player because you see.
Now that that is done, I have all the changes that I had before on my other branch. Now on this branch, other than the state sending, which Andrew didn't like the way I was doing state sending, so I have to change that. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. When you get closer, it actually. And sometimes it's a bush, sometimes it's a jump scare.
Which would be great.
Yeah.
What I want to do here is we're going to make a function that I can call from get Vox status. Vox status.
Oh, by the way, he actually for video.
And for character ID.
Yeah, what does that do?
I think that's really I think
Right, so here on the provider, which is in a different project than one I was working on. So I need Vox/commands. Let me open that guy up here. Vox/commands and status. Process command status. Which it takes an updater, it takes an entity, which is a player entity, and then command arguments, which it doesn't actually need any. It doesn't take any. But that is on the Vox/commands, so I could actually just call this. But what I need to do is I need an updater. I need an entity. So what I can do is I get the world updater. Instance 0 of the world updater. I only ever have one instance of the world updater. Schedule action. Game provider dot Vox status. Updater. Okay. Find player for character ID.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I think they said they were.
So I could just use this updater. Yeah, it's probably safer to do that. Okay. So now here, I have an updater. I have a player entity, which I got here from the game repository find player. And then I need to call this, which is on Vox/commands, process command status. box slash commands process box command. Oh, that's not what I want. I want it's a private method.
And it also looks a lot better than
Yeah, that thing looks great.
but this looks really good.
Yeah.
So I'd probably just pass status. Box takes a minimum of 1 argument, and you sent command arg sub 1. Alright, so command arg sub 1 is actually going to be status. So I think it takes CR as the first one, or Vox rather.
Well, even if it is just that with
How many string compares per frame? You get 1 million. Alright. No. Okay, so I have an updater, and I guess I could just make this send box. I don't want to do slash command like that. I'd rather have this be public. Why are you not public? Can I just make you public? I'm going to make you public. Because I want to. Updater clear. Get updater. It's a 2 leaf updater and a 2 updater on safe. Hey Rob.
Well, they have some advantages. If you ever read their characters and stuff, like, it's from their mom. Well, I don't know, because, like, it looks a lot better just because of the lighting. Now that they've got advanced lighting pass on all their characters, right? So, and that's what they have now, so. How much of that was on the artist? Where it's on there. I think he's great. Like, that's potpourri straight out of his head.
Yep.
And he was a joke, and everybody liked him.
Yeah.
So they put him in the game. That's what they do. How he stuff his hand in. So, like, instead of getting
Why we don't have it.
otherwise we would.
No, because I don't really want to go through that.
Okay. The apparent correct answer is neither of those.
It's always option C.
Try get updater is the correct answer. With takes in a player dot entity ID, which that just returns the updater. That's fine. And then string dot empty. I can't just do. Hey, look, it's nothing. Okay.
There's no way in the video game there is an
Because we don't use these command args here.
Well, exactly.
Alright,
Well,
cool.
no, I'm sorry, that. I was thinking
Okay.
Oh yeah, that's
Now that means I should be able to just call this directly from my API provider. Da, 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 da. Not provider. Yep. Okay. Hey, a language I don't know. All right. So, now that I've defined this function here on the game provider, I just need to call it from the game handler. And the logic from these RPC providers and RPC handlers will just work. They just work. Void. But we want, though, is we want a response. So I do actually want to get a response. I don't want to just process that command and do nothing. What does it need to do? Right, it's doing send text. I don't want to do that. So actually, using this function, not helpful. I don't want to send text. What I want to do is get the box status, which is a string, and return it back to the API. But ideally, this string can be an actual object, eventually. You don't need that command X right now. Get box status. It's basically do all this stuff and return box status. I'm going to replace this with that, so we don't duplicate the code, because this is what I actually wanted. Alright, now we have a function that I can use twice. Yes. Well, technically the status, I mean I could make the status come through GraphQL, but this status is actually going to come through a RPC call directly. Actually no, I can totally just do it through GraphQL as well, since it's a string right now. Since it's a query, it doesn't actually require any input. So we'll do that. We'll do it in GraphQL. You convinced me. Just the thing is, like, you're not gonna know that it updates because we don't have push updates through GraphQL yet, which is why I was going to make a actual standard API call for it. So you can just be like, api.camelotchain.com/vox/status or something, or /vox/get status. So the provider instead, because I need a return, it's going to return a string. Get Vox status.
Yeah.
Don't need this random empty string.
Would you like to return
Yeah.
strings?
And we're going to return.
The real solution.
I should probably want to do that on a completion. Because this might get rerun.
Yeah. The only thing I saw. Yes, Scott.
I was gonna say, like, that's just capitalizing on reusing it. The real solution.
What do I do here?
Yeah. Why don't we do that?
My original task was doing kind of went rogue and started working on long sort and resurrect that. To
Right.
a better motion. But my main task was to start that sort right now.
Right.
Put that off the bridge and I'll do a knockback this video next week. I think I could do it.
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
So I'll remove that action. We'll just go to
Get another opinion, but let's see what these guys say.
It's jilted.
Yeah, that's how I see it. Okay, good. All right.
I
If the
did
animator
3
agrees.
passes at it, to see different renders because
Right.
I'm moving the capsule basically, and I'm just kind of nudging it and softening it here and there.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you're going to get is just do web API.onVoxStat, or, well, get Vox status. How do I know when this is set?
Maybe that's what I'll start with my stream tomorrow.
Yeah, could be. Maybe that's a great idea.
I don't know if this is a good idea or not. It's probably not.
Sure. Oh, God, yeah.
Um,
Cool. So this is like a little slide back.
Yeah, it's actually removing probably like 10 frames from the initial clip and readjusting
Yeah, the movement works as a slide, but it's just like short out. Yeah, because this is like you said, that's more the
so,
the half. That's the half section. Oh, stuff back. Stuff back.
yes, on the stream.
But I would be curious.
if I don't like it, but
I think of like a use where I would expect to see something. It would be like a
it will work. Problem is these updater actions can get rerun.
Because you're sliding, you're buying
Um,
not even really.
So it's going to set it multiple times, but I'm only actually going to wait for it and return once. So I'm only waiting one time. So like on a rerun, it's not gonna get it. It's not ideal. Not ideal at all. But it should work, regardless. So now in handler, I want to make a function nope, normal task. Okay, that will make the call, give me the result, and I'm gonna make this get box status async. So now, hey, that's awesome, Craig. I'm currently, this last thing is getting status for the Vox from the game server to the API server, which a Vox is our like crafting box. It's like it's an item in the game that is used to craft everything. It's like a magic bench thing with crystals. I don't know how to explain it.
I saw that.
Super crafty magic bench.
Hey guys, you want to know what word's at the top of JD's head right now? No, because he already told you.
Earlier I tried.
Alright, so now here on the API server, I'm going to be calling this getBox status async from, I can make a GraphQL query for it, so I'm going to add that to the GraphQL real quick. Also in the crafting, query.cs, basically under crafting, here I'm going to make one that's going to be box status. String box status GQL field resolve as type of string resolver equals type of box status field resolver. This doesn't exist yet. I make that. And this one is gonna be, we're gonna get the user from the context. User context user context has a GraphQL user context and character ID equals user context.cu character.id. Okay, so that's what we needed. And make it an async field resolver. Why are you unhappy? What is unhappy?
You know whether you
Resolve async. That's
2014.
basically that's what I did.
You know,
That's what I did.
very good rock, weird.
It's just kind of protected, and then use an override.
One video, so it looks like he's trying to be Woody Allen. But it's kind of funny. But yeah, take your
There we go. Sure, whatever. Okay. Alright, now that I have character ID, shard ID, user context, shard ID, just make sure it's the one for character. Or clients, server client, get clients for shard ID. Because there could be multiple game clients that this character is currently, well, there's potential ones that it's on. We don't know which one yet. That tech hasn't been built yet. It will eventually, so we'll have to make the call everywhere. But for right now, I'm going to make the call on every client. What is the dictionary of strings? Get hammer. Oh well, yeah. This is very different from Scratch. Do I want to just loop on any or wait for all? This is C#. Why am I blanking out right now?
The train problem. Right.
Oh, this is joke.
Oh.
I'm meaning to change this to the code.
Don't toy with it like that. Oh my god. So,
I was excited.
I don't have to loop through this. It's kind of gross. Yeah, that's not gonna work because it's. Yeah, not ideal. But that should give lock status to the GraphQL API. I think there's a case that I need to handle on the server. So what if the player doesn't exist? Because the person's not even logged in. Player null return string empty. What's going to return? And your stats technically should be able to know it. Anyways, let's see what this does. Which it should just give me unknown. Unless I actually log in and into the game. That is quite an assert. Seems like the editor crashed.
That's gotta be WPF.
Quite the call stack. Bull has volunteered. Run, run, run. Go, go, go. See, for this to work, I actually need a server and API server running. I was building the API server now, or the game server now. And then I will be building the API server.
That was a world ending, right?
The world that
Game server almost started. Just get an API server going. Game server still not started. It's always slower on my computer.
Right.
So tomorrow, that's one of the main focuses for testing. On top of that, hopefully getting battery per tracking down network usage issues. I'm just doing a little bit of research. So hopefully,
Come on, game server. Go. Yeah.
with a possibility of maybe doing
Go. Game server go.
test sessions.
That'd be great.
That sort of compresses all the design stuff that you wanted to show up and show you how the best possible language is Cypress. Also because our that Microsoft Office
So, whatever. Yeah, you can no problem.
we already have one.
Well, yeah, so let me know if that's.
So instead of going through this week, it shouldn't, but I like it.
No, I don't really want
Trying to do that.
Hmm.
Trying to get something more.
Come on.
Yeah, I just want
You can do it, game server. See, this everyone's always like, oh, it's never slow. Never slow. Whatever.
that's one of those
It's
things.
always slow on my computer.
Zones would almost
Just sits here for like 2 minutes, 3 minutes.
I thought it was about 1.5 minutes over there.
Oh, I've never get this under 2 minutes on my computer.
Just because JD touched everything.
That's weird.
Here's all the things.
Why?
Mm-hmm.
Just do all that stuff.
So outside stuff we talked about earlier, just wanted to get the
Oh, you profiled it?
name label working that way they can see
No.
the break.
They do have yours machine set up that actually does good. How much?
See there it goes. All right.
Yeah. Yeah. Did you
So it took forever. Yeah, the items
Oh
one
my God,
It took forever.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Let's see here.
I assume he's trying to look like who that, but
29 seconds
that
hog
was-
cache
that would
init.
have been more famous than
28
those
seconds
places.
load skill effect resources.
Bananas.
31 seconds init strat
Still
connection.
one of his first films. It might be his first film. So,
267 seconds. Load and add dropped items. 268 seconds. Load and add portals.
Is
I
this a
always
local-
get stuck on these
Is
things.
this a local server?
Yeah.
Local shard?
No, it's the default stuff that's in the settings config.
Yeah, but the server's loading up your.
It's
items
the
like
it's the
database.
basic test map world.
So someone has left like a bunch of stuff on that one world.
Yeah, I don't know, but 268 seconds for load and add
Clear
portals,
the collection out.
and 267 for load and
Be like
add dropped
Photos
items.
on
Yeah, look at these split. Get rid of all the dropped items.
It's forever.
Of course, actually, I think maybe what we found is a problem that needs to be solved. If it takes that long to load dropped items.
Yeah, this is you, Tyler.
I love it. There's they did a cover album
Right,
like that. This guy can sing.
right.
He's got a whole bunch of interesting songs in it. Anybody want more coffee?
Okay,
Should I make more?
I have some here. But
So,
I probably won't drink
what I
them.
should be able to do
I'll
now
make another one.
is at least get a response. Yeah, here we are. I should get a response on here. Get rid of those. I should have one called box status right now, which is just a string, which it gives me empty right now. which I don't expect anything but that. Well, should get unknown. Did we test our new coffee maker? The cappuccino machine? I don't know. I didn't. I'm not a big coffee drinker.
And it looks just like him, same hair.
I thought you had a bit of coffee.
Alright, so on the game server, I expect that it should return me unknown
But just couldn't fit.
here.
Yeah, click the take on that one. Because when I heard, I actually heard the cover album first.
So I did get here. I clear is null, and it returns unknown.
No, that's not.
So that's expected. Now what happens on the API side? The API side.
Oh my god, Devo.
Oh, because not is null or empty. There we go. If it's not is null or empty, I like to just do is false to be more than clear. If it is not null or empty, then we return it. Otherwise, return an empty string.
It's so goofy.
built again. Now run it again. There we go. We got unknown. That's what we wanted, because this character, the demo character, doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to log into the game. I'm going to get this character's character ID and my login token, set that up for the API, and do that on the screen. So I'll log in. Whoops. That is not the local server. I need to log into a local server to do that. And what's his character ID? Got that somewhere around here. I'm going to copy his character ID, and I use a header modifier in order to adjust the queries here. So now this is my character that I'm going to be logging into the local server. Server with localhost, start it up. And hopefully I have a box. If I don't, I'll just give myself a box. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Looks like the client has updated network code that I don't have. Ooh. This means that I either start a new server, get latest, or base off latest so I get off the patcher, or run a client of my own. Let me go with option Raybase. And stiff. Okay, so that went cleanly. Now I just need to reload and build my game server again and the API server. Uh-oh. Jenkins is broken.
Oh, but did I break the build?
You broke the build,
I
Bull.
fucking broke the build.
Let's hope you didn't break the server
You know,
that I just got latest of and I'm trying to build now.
I just added some stuff to it. The project that you're on. Lies.
Hey, Mark.
Yeah.
So, question I can verify since I'm discussing this with Christina right now.
Okay.
Since we want to be able to make crafting for like all your box stuff, basically we want it to be able to completely down
Are
through.
we on?
Yeah, we're on.
Okay.
Is that fine?
Okay.
We want to be able to do that through like the API. All right.
Yep.
So, do you ever expect there to be like in-game buffs that can affect your crafting?
Oh yeah.
So that would require then a logged in character into the game. And an API request, if you're not logged into the game client, you won't be able to know that that buff exists in that character.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, so we'll have to talk about that.
Yeah, we'll have to figure out what to do. Yeah, what information to send. Okay, cool.
Yeah. So there's
So, yeah,
a hitch to
is that a
that.
possibility? Sure. Because and the thing is, don't even think of JB is a buff directly on the character. The buff is on the box as well, right? Because the box, depending on how you build it, is going to have some advantages and disadvantages. And
Well,
one
like
could be
a
hang
part-
on, and one
yeah.
could be like a temporary,
Mhm.
like okay, hey, if you use it during these hours, you get a buff because you built it with certain things that make it react better during certain hours.
I think those kind of things we might be able to recreate and do through the API, because those would be kind of like a Veins and Moon type thing, right? So yeah, that just makes it a little bit more complicated.
Good. I like making your life more complicated. It gives you incentive to be even
'cause
greater
I'm
than you are.
discussing this with Christina right now, because a lot of the crafting stuff relies on there being actual player entities.
Yep.
Which, if you're just going over an API request, you don't have a player entity unless you're actually logged into the game. So, yeah, something we'll need to discuss.
Well, I mean, if we were actually going to do that, where we wanted the API to be able to control the crafter while they're offline, couldn't we just log the player into the game then?
and they would have to log out standing next to their docs or something.
Correct.
That's plausible, doable, I guess. Yeah.
One other thing, there are things to talk about. There are different ways
Yeah.
always that. So.
Yeah. Because if we do a log in on there, and then I can just be standing there. So if
Yep.
I have a buff or whatever, the timers will
Exactly.
keep going and whatever.
Yeah.
So that's doable.
Yeah, and there certainly would be times for design reasons why we'd want to say to players, hey, in order to do this, you actually have to have your character logged into the game, and that could come with some risk, right? Because if you think
Yeah, because say you logged out standing out in the middle of the wilderness somewhere, and then you try to craft on an app, and you have to be logged in for that thing to get your buff or whatever. Then
correct, because we don't want to give players an advantage for using the app and say, oh yeah, you're nice and safe, and because that would mean that crafters, their preferred behavior would be the time to log into the app,
Yeah.
and we don't want that.
okay.
Cool.
Yep. It's sounds good. So,
Right. Cool. Any last minute thing? Okay.
Some like
Oh, good. Cool. Well, one is Colin, one is Brad.
But they've been working in the editor on Collins stuff.
Right. No, I know. Good, I think.
all right. Again, I'm getting stuck on the load and add. That was what, 270 seconds last time? It's forever. Oh yeah, and Zadred. Today nothing broke yet. So, now I just ruined it and everything's just gonna fall apart now towards the end of the stream. But today has been very productive on stream without breakage. What's broken is my computer is super slow starting our game server. Like 5 minutes to load dropped items. So there we go. What was that one that time? 240 seconds. So only 4 minutes. I'll be right back. Grab some water. Alright, this will be started up in a sec. We'll log in. Make sure my connection, yep, connected to the local server. Yep, CCGB connected. And there's me. Alright. I should have a box. I do have a box. Let me drop my box. And then now I should be able to run the status command and actually get a status from my box. So I have my character set up as an information for this now. And Vox, yeah, look. I have status. Found Vox with item ID, blah, 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 blah. No current job. Sweet. It works. So if I like add something to my box, CR Vox. Double commands. CR Vox set job. CR Vox set job Purify? There we go. That says done. So now if I run status, it should tell me something. Hey, look. Type job Purify. Status configuring recipe none, ingredients none. Why can't you drag items from your inventory and drop it to the box? Vox? Because we didn't make that kind of stuff yet. Alright. I think I can add something to my Vox with CR Vox. Let's see. CR Vox add. I think I need to do list possible ingredients. That's a lot of ingredients. It's a whole lot of ingredients. CR Vox add ingredient. This is why me here just making a UI for this. Let's add into it a basic arrow. It's gonna be 250. Okay. So now my status should have an arrow in it. Hey, look, I got an arrow in my box. Works. Let's make this a part, like an actual object eventually later, but you should be happy with this. Should work for now, right? Me huge, I think. Cool. Alright, so status. Call that done for now. Oh wow, it prints it all to the server console as well. Well, I mean, as it is right now in the slash command way, you don't use the ingredient ID, you use the ingredient number, which they are numbered in alphabetical order from 1 to whatever, how many you have. That's what the list possible ingredients gives you, the numbers. But in the UI that MeHuge is making, you will just select the item. So you don't need to remember numbers or anything. All right. Okay, so now we have box status. What are the other things we had in here? Server, box / commands. Status, let's do set job. I don't think it even gets a response. Well, it could be error text. So I'll just return a string of success or not on this. Set box job. The interface, data, entity, data who, and string job. It's basically going to do all this stuff. Sort of. What are you doing, computer? We'll do that. See if it exceeds amount, we'll return an error string out. Kind of do all that stuff. Basically, return false, and then the error text is going to be that error equals that. Empty. False. No box. I think is the error on that one. Yeah, that one's just going to be there anyways. So that's going to be fine the way it is. That'll probably just be up here. And then for this, I'm going to call setBox job. If setBox job updater who and arg sub 2 is equal to false. Then we send an error message, which is error. And I forgot to pass in error.
Oh yeah, it's all is that crazy?
There we go. Alright, so now this one,
You wired them to like the lights on video. Yeah. Reviewing stuff on App Store, so they
don't need that one because I've already done that check outside. Error equals details and return false and return true. I'm going to set error equals success. Alright, so now we have the set blocks job that I can call externally. A good language to start with for game development. Any language that you want, really. Well, with some exceptions, but basically whatever you can get into that you enjoy. If you want to work at a game studio, pretty much C++ is the standard, but now if you're working at a studio that's doing Unity, you don't really have much use for C++. You'll do C# and JavaScript if you're using Unity. Or Unreal, you could use Unreal Script or C++. So it really depends. In a lot of games, mobile games, for example, they can be purely just JavaScript. They can be Lua. They can be C#. They can be C++. They can be whatever. Java, Android games. You can use Swift for iOS and Apple. It's really just the important thing is learn programming, and then you can switch languages around once you know how to program. It is much easier to swap between different languages because it's really just knowing the fundamentals of how programming works in general rather than the specific syntax. Set blocks job. Yeah, I mean, there's some very different things in the languages themselves, like using C++ versus using BASIC or Pascal or Fortran, like as you mentioned there. Like there's some core concepts in the languages that are vastly different, like C++ having to learn about memory management and pointers and all that, which a lot of other languages don't have that are managed languages. Even like it's close to one like C# to C++, it does a lot of memory management for you. You don't need to even really think about pointers much at all. But I mean, that's stuff that you can learn on the job. If you've already got experience in one language. Like as you notice, even in our applications for our studio here, we don't require that you know C++ or C#, but like if you know Java, we'll say, all right, well, you're gonna have to learn C#. Most people can pick it up fairly quickly. I mean, not paying attention again. So basically, this is going to be almost the same thing. Except in here, I'm going to pass in job and out status. Don't really care about the return of this if it's true or false here, because I'm just going to return the string, which will say success if it succeeded or not. Set box job.
Yeah, so you know what people have done. No, sorry, you said in this year, which August.
I've never been to Stanford, but I went to Full Sail. And Full Sail is a great school if you are going to put in the work required to learn the stuff. Like classes being only a month long, you don't have a ton of time to just let the stuff sink in. You have to constantly be studying and applying it, and you have to like make a real effort to learn the stuff there, which is why a lot of programmers that come out of Full Sail are, you got some good ones, and then there's some that are just not really good because you don't have that time to let it sink in, which tends to happen more with like the kids that are right out of high school that go to Full Sail, because it's a very different type of school for a college. And if all the like older guys that went and girls that went to Full Sail, they seem to have a better experience of it. And my friends, when I went there, I started there when I was like after my time in the Army, so I was 25 when I started at Full Sail, and the other couple people that were 24, 25, 26, we had our own little like clique of old people that weren't really that old, but I think we all did very well and got a lot out of it. Well, I mean, when you're at a school where everyone is like, 17, 18, 19, yeah. When you're 25, you're an old person because you can buy booze and everything. Yeah. Okay, so this is going to do the same thing for setting the box job, which is going to call set box job. I'm going to pass in the character ID and the job string name. This one I'm not going to provide over GraphQL. There's a kind of explicit divide on, we use GraphQL for getting like read data, just like, what's the status of stuff, like get me list things and whatnot. When you actually want to like perform an action, those go through our RPC endpoints, which are just like we use Web API for that. It's different from REST because you're not actually, it's not structured like REST where you have an endpoint and at that same endpoint you post to it to change it, or put to it to update it, and get it to get it. It's just everything is a post, everything is a function. Like on our API, you're just calling functions to do stuff. And yes, you're calling it. They called over HTTP, but they're just RPC functions. Which I didn't create one for crafting yet, so I'm going to create a crafting controller. It's over HTTPS. But I know you were joking about that. See, I had this HTTPS required, or maybe I call it require HTTPS. There we are. Yes. Now everything in this controller requires HTTPS. Because, yes, HTTPS is good. Crafting controllers are also going to need a login token. Player login token auth, which is going to require that a login token is provided. Character required will also mean that everything in this controller will require a character ID also will be provided, as well as your login token. Authentication. Yeah, I don't know what you're trying to go for, Law, Tween. It depends what you're trying to do. Like the school. Okay. Also, we'll log exceptions. And so make a endpoint here for HTTP action results. And this is going to be called get, or no, set box a job. And so login token and character ID are already going to come in. Shard ID. Well, my opinion on that then, Law, would be send your son to a cheaper school to start to figure out if he actually likes programming, because the vast majority, a lot of people they'll start programming degrees and hate it. And if you like it, after your first year, transfer to a better school for it. I mean, even when I was at Full Sail, we had over 60% of the students dropped out in the first 5 months, which are like the most intensive, like get started in programming stuff. I started with, I think it was almost 40 people in my class around there when I started Full Sail, and then when I graduated, there were less than 10 of us. So I'm basically going to do the same thing that I did here. But I don't need this context stuff because I already have a character ID. Set box job. Oh, we'll also need to take in a string for the job.
What's their selling points?
Yeah, pretty much. Decide if he has done programming before, and it's not just like going to college to start it, then that would be different. But yeah, if he's getting an internship for programming right now, and if he still really likes it afterwards, then yeah, definitely. But yeah, starting at like a community college or something for the first year and then transferring, it would be my suggestion on that.
When you have servers, that's when you just apply more and more servers, it's more and more density, and it just scales again. That's true. Right, because then you have handoff between servers. Still somehow you have to apply it. Yeah, just
It starts to slow stuff down. And can they make this work? Some games you know that. Oh man, 0 down. But can they make all things become? Plus it's the same thing. You said I want to. Yeah, that's a whole.
well, yeah, but that's a reasonable thing to say. Everybody really wants to do that.
Yeah, that's a big hype word.
That's a big hype. I'm gonna do.
Well, we're going to, or I would like to, or
Yeah,
different
I
things.
forget what you said. It was one of the two. You said either our plan is to do it.
It's not a very reasonable business plan.
Yeah. And he's telling them on getting congratulations to him on doing so
Okay, so now I have this function, which I'm going to make an HTTP post. Got sidetracked for a second. Add a route. So I have we have versioned routes. So the basic route parameter is going to go with a v1, and then crafting, and then set the box job. Then I'm going to have add in also a versioned route, which then we remove the v1 in it because the version comes in through a header, and set box job, and it's version 1. Okay, now this will get auto-generated. See if I build, we auto-generate it into TypeScript for our UI. I'm gonna just use Postman to do the test on this.
I'm surprised.
Come on, build. Visual Studio freezing up on me again. Yomi, yes it does. If you have a page you're serving over HTTPS and you have images that are served over HTTP, it will complain, and like Google Chrome, for example, will say that the page is not secure. And you don't have your nice little like lock saying it's all nice and secured on Google Chrome, as well as I think on Mozilla as well. Alright, so once that's built, so here's a cool thing. In here, under controllers, we now have crafting.ts. Open. Hey, look at that. See, set box job. This is the TypeScript that our Camelot Unchained npm library will use, which is publicly available, and this will get added to it when I commit this code and stuff. I just copy over the files, but so this would be under web API crafting.setboxjob. Just takes the shard ID, character ID, and a job. So I'm going to make this though a postman so I can test it. All right. Postman.
Targeting the specific developers who are doing large scale projects, or if they would be better off trying to go with like
So at URL
free as well.
/crafting
Threshold, you don't have to pay so much or whatever. So they can
crafting / no server starting up. Good. Okay. / box job and shard ID equals shard ID and character ID equals character ID and job equals Purify. We'll just do that for now. And on the headers, I need to add in my login token. Login token. And I need to add in the API version. That autocomplete didn't work. Okay. And set that to post. And to save as set box job. Set boxes job. Okay.
Hey, now we got this all this money. We're gonna buy a building. That's TA.
You would be able to, not for this endpoint, because this one just exists only in my local one, but there's a whole bunch of other ones that you can do. If you load up Postman. Like, for example, get servers, which the URL here can be api.https/api.camelotchain.com/servers, and you'll get servers. And a whole bunch of other things. We have the public API at api.camelotchain.com, and then there's API servers for our different levels of testing as well, for like hatchery and wormling and fledgling. But now I have setbox job, which I need to go onto local, which sets it to use my localhost URL. Game starting, API server, start that guy up.
help test the tech, and if they make some money, great. Now we'll see if they turn around that, right? What's going on in if we now going to say, oh, we want money,
That is 100.
Nobody gets it. Nobody gets it.
Nice. Games are pretty complicated. Should be a fun exercise. Alright. Server is starting. So before I do that, should be able to hear it. I'm not actually logged in, so oh well, my server's not fully started yet.
They also think we are not doing this yet, because here we are, everything is and now we're going to do a pivot.
Started, yay. Okay, lock status. Here, trying to resolve lock status. That's no good.
There won't be some like revelationary event that really have to happen. It's like, wow, we realized all of a sudden that we discovered some thing that is completely impossible. It will make us so much more money. Like, sorry guys, we have to pursue this, but that would be almost the
Oh, that's just a timeout,
This is not 100%.
because my game server's not started yet.
And that's why
Go figure. Still waiting. But it shouldn't throw an error like that. I need to catch the timeout exception there. Yeah, my game server startup is super slow. I swear, this takes like less than 2 minutes, like a minute and a half for other people. It just hates me, as you see on every stream that I do when I start up a game server. Which it could potentially be because of the streaming software, making it take forever, using up CPU. Alright, now. Hey, look. Okay, now it worked. I got unknown player, because I'm not logged in. Let me log in to the local server. I think I left my Vox on the ground too. I should probably pick that up before I log out so I don't lose it. I was not originally scheduled to stream today. That was supposed to be Andrew. Alright, so this is my Vox, I think, because I logged in right next to it. Can I pick it up? Yes, it says foobar sauce is Vox. Alright, so now I'm standing on it. Alright. So now that I'm logged in, I should get a status. It says my Vox job is Purify. So what I should do on Postman is set it to not be Purify. What other statuses are there? let's see. CR box. CR box set job. What can I do? I can do purify, refine, grind, make, shape, repair, and block. So I'm going to change it to refine over the API. Make it refine. And let's send this. Oh, make sure I got the right character. Off screen, edit my environment. Local. My character ID is what is my character ID? That is the wrong character ID. Here we go. Set that character ID. Update. Okay. Coming back. Back on screen. Back on screen. Let's make this smaller. Smaller yet. Okay. Send. Try to start a new Vox job on Vox while current Vox job exists. Oh, I need to like cancel my job? Is that what I need to do? Let's see. CR Vox. Reset maybe? CR Vox. CR Vox cancel. Tried to cancel job. My current job is not running. CR Vox status. Still got Purify in there. Clear job. Thanks, Zadrid. CR Vox. Clear job. Okay. Thank you. Alright, so now over here, it still says I have Purify job. CR Vox clear job. Oh, I can't do it while there's items still in it. CR Vox collect. I tried to collect on Vox while job is not. Ah! I did not make up these commands. I'm just a consumer of these commands. How do I get my arrow out? Vox remove ingredient. Thank you. Ingredient. CR Vox status. Now no ingredients. CR Vox clear job. Vox. Okay. I should be empty now. There we go. Empty. Yeah. Pretty much. Okay. Now I'm gonna set the job. Go. Success. Let's check over here. Hey, look, it worked. My Vox job is refined and in-game. CR Vox status. Hey, I got refined set. Alright. It works. Yeah, CR Vox, please send help. Christina is even messaging me on Discord. Hey, there's a clear job thing. Because my Vox foo is terrible. All the blue bars of the character, these right here, those are your, you have your torso, your head, right arm, right leg, health bars. There's a new UI concept that's currently in work in progress for these, which if you look at our website and look at the latest news posts, you'll see a couple of the new concepts for that are a work in progress. They're on our website. Or maybe in here. On our patcher, we also get news from our website. Nope, not on that one. Is it on that one? There they are. See, look, man. Awesome concepts. Okay, well, I think that is a great place to end it. I have a command working through the API, sending an RPC request to change the job to whatever I want. I can get the status on GraphQL and in game, and it all matches up and all links up, and I think it's all good. So that's a good place to end it for tonight. And then I think Christina's going to learn how to write some of these, and we'll get all the rest of logs, commands, and stuff, everything going through the API as much as possible, so that UIs and web requests can be made and awesomeness happens. So thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you later. Goodbye.